So, the start of our journey into the Clancy estate has certainly taken a turn for the worse. Not only has our newfound friend Brian met an untimely end, but as of right now, the only clue we have to follow up on involves us chasing after yet another killer. Still, we did manage to pick up an item last time around that should help us navigate the mansion. And to get to it, we are going to look at the special option here in the menu. Now what we have here are a couple of helpful shortcuts we can enable in the game, such as automatically lighting candles. But for our purposes right now, we just want to display the compass. Because you might recall, the clue we were given was that the boy's murderer is going to be waiting in the western courtyard, and now we have an easy means to tell just which way is west. But even if you didn't enable the compass, the game has other means of telling you which way to go. So the West Wing is where the game really starts to show its teeth. And that's why the first thing we want to do is to make sure we turn on the lights. But it seems there's a little bit of a problem there. And in fact, there's a second problem, which we can easily evade. But, yeah, we are going to have to be dealing with that young ghost for pretty much the remainder of the West Wing. And that's why it's going to be necessary for us to figure out just how we can return power to this area of the mansion. There could be something in here of use to us. There is quite an odd assortment of items in here. I guess this might be where the staff would entertain themselves while, waiting for their call. Though I do find this large painting to be kind of out of place. But what really seems to draw one's attention is this set of hangers over here. It's a bit hard to make out initially, but it does appear that one of them is indeed missing. This will be something that we'll need to keep in mind for later. But really what is of most use to us right now is that slip of paper on the wall. Because you can already kind of tell that it appears to be a map. A very crudely drawn map, but it does indeed show us where the inner courtyard is, and that's going to be our end destination for this area. So I guess maybe we want to start at the bar and make our way over there. Should be a pretty straight shot. Though, obviously, we do want to keep an eye out for the power, but there is one last thing we want to get in here. And that is a little hidden away dried herb. You can never have too many healing items, especially, well, the ghosts in this game are a little bit more ferocious than in the first game. Oh, yeah, I guess our journey to the bar is going to have to be sidetracked. But, invariably, we are going to want to cover pretty much all of the West Wing, so it never hurts to maybe check out the dining room, though really nothing to see in here for right now, just a lot of obstructions with these tables and chairs. It's a pretty dangerous place to get caught up on. But, well, I mean, we could just head over to the courtyard, but we should probably check out the bar first. And it is a pretty lavish-looking bar. Really shows just what kind of money the Clancy's might have, that they could have such a pretty full-stocked bar. In fact, there might be something of use for us behind the bar here. In fact, it looks like there's a cabinet there, but kind of strange. There seems to be something in the way. I mean, there's nothing visibly there, but something is indeed blocking our path. Guess it's just something to keep in mind for later, but, well, there is one other thing that kind of stood out in here, and it looks like there's a newspaper there. Maybe it has some useful information for us. And from one lap of luxury to another, we find ourselves suddenly transported to a very majestic airship. Well, I guess since we're here, that must be here for some reason, so we could start exploring, I guess. Though our options are kind of limited as of right now. There's another 2 doors downstairs. We could probably check those out. I will say, though, that they really spared no expense with making this airship as, well, lavish as possible. But we quickly find out just a possible reason why we might be here.
Kuma-san がいなくなっちゃった。どうしよう。ジェシカちゃんのなのに。どうしよう。
So, a poor little girl has lost her poor teddy bear. And while that doesn't seem like that great of a task, it doesn't mean we shouldn't put our hearts into it. Though, well, I don't think there could be too many places aboard this dirigible that a teddy bear could be missing. Guess we could check this other door here. No, that is yet another avenue blocked off to us, which kind of limits where we can go. I wonder where that bear could be. Though we We do stumble across it pretty quickly. I guess it could be a little bit hard to spot under the stairs. Still, it's another job well done and completed. Go ahead and return that to that crying young girl and make her day.
Kuma-san. ありがとう。
Seems, though, that wasn't entirely our purpose aboard the Blimp. I wonder what other purpose we could have aboard here. Well, I guess it wouldn't hurt to follow after that little girl and make sure she's okay. I assume her parents must be somewhere on board. Don't think she would be on here all alone, would she?
Yappari, Jessica も連れてきてあげたかったわね。
急に熱を出したんだ。しょうがないな。
双子なのにレベッカと違ってあの子は体が弱くて旅行に行くんだって楽しみにしてたのにかわいそうだわ。
大きくなれば体も丈夫になるさ。先生もそう言ってただろ。この子たちの人生にはまだまだ時間があるんだ。悲観しちゃいけない。
そうね。今度来るときはきっと4人揃って。
ああ、そうしよう。
お船から煙が出てる。
And with that dreadful dirigible disaster, our trip into the past is suddenly cut short. Just what happens is a bit of a mystery, but maybe this newspaper will shed a little bit more light on it. In addition to that, though, it seems to have also been hiding the key to the kitchen. So we'll go ahead and pocket that. But before we head over to the kitchen, we might as well take a quick look at that newspaper. Because we already have a basic idea of what happened, but yeah, there seems to have been a very horrible accident involving a sightseeing blimp. And while everybody on board seems to have been killed, the 3 family members that we just interacted with weren't found in the wreckage. In addition to that, we were given an additional name of a person that did not go on that journey. Might be good to keep that name in mind. Now, though, we are pretty much done with the bar, and while I don't think the kitchen was shown on that hand-drawn map, I do get a good impression that what better place to, put a kitchen than right next to the dining room. And, well, we seem to have already stumbled across the door we were looking for. And we should be pretty clear to get to that courtyard finally. We do want to rush though, because that ghost will appear in here pretty quickly. Just gotta make our way over to that door there. Though there seems to be another invisible roadblock. The good news is that, well, we don't really have to deal with the ghost as much anymore, because in the joined room here, we have stumbled across the distribution board. And this is exactly why I made sure to bring the distribution key with me. Otherwise, we would kind of be up shit creek without a paddle here. But with that, should be able to bestow light upon the entire western area of the mansion. And it allows us a much better view of, well, some of the odd layouts that these rooms have to offer. I'm not sure if this barricade was intentionally set up before, but it definitely would have barred us getting over here had we gone through those other doors. But there is one other thing of interest before we leave this room. And that is some more dried herbs. But we also see what appears to be a collection of letters, or possibly Roman numerals, considering the collection of V and I's there. That's something else to keep in mind, but I think it's time to finally uncover the mysteries with these little invisible barricades we've been running into. And to do that, we will need to turn on even more lights. Because once the lights come on, not only do we get rid of that horrible ghost, but see that the invisible barricades we've been running into are in actuality ghosts that are in need of our assistance. So let's see what this chef is in need of.
ないなあ、おかしいなあ。よりによってこんな時に。おや？いいところへ来た。探し物をしているんだが、手伝ってくれないか。お客様にシチューをお出ししなくてはならないんだが、仕上げの胡椒が見当たらないんだ。旦那様の大切な客人を待たせるわけにはいかないのに。確かここに置いたはずなんだが。バーの方か？マークのやつ、いつも勝手に持ち出すからな。
Well, that certainly seems like a reasonable enough favor. Especially since we'll need to fulfill that for that chef to get out of the way so we can head to the courtyard, but that does kind of explain what that other invisible blockade we were running into was in the bar. But just to be safe, as we make our way over to the bar, we might as well go ahead and illuminate the dining room here. I mean, just for safety's sake, since there doesn't seem to be anything else of interest in here. Though, after turning on the lights, seems like there's an easily missed young ghost under the table here.
あっち行ってよ。見つかったらどうするのよ。
Seems as though that we are nothing more than a bother to that young boy, though I get a feeling like we're going to be part of his game soon enough. But we just need to find the light switch here in the bar, which is, I'd say, one of the increased difficulties with Echo Night 2 over Echo Night 1. I find that some of the wall patterns in the mansion here make finding the lights a little bit difficult sometimes, but yeah, let's go ahead and see if we can't talk Mark into giving us that pepper.
胡椒？これはバーのものだ。あげるわけにはいかない。僕は楽譜を探しているんだ。もし見つけてくれたら、あげてもいい。大事な楽譜なんだ。僕が彼女にあげた。彼女はもうどこにもいない。あの楽譜だけでも。
So we have one more step to go through before we can solve the chef's problem, and well, as of right now, I don't think we've run across any musical compositions, though I do recall hearing an odd piano noise out on the hallway here. Thought maybe it might have been just a weird musical sting, but yeah, there it is. Seems to be coming from this room we haven't gone into yet. I'm guessing that is the musical composition that Mark is on the lookout for, but yeah, as you can guess, there's a little bit something more to this room. And if you're wondering if this young lady playing the piano might have some connection to Mark, there is an additional hint that we can get on that.
今日は君にプレゼントがあるんだ。ほら、見てごらん。
え？楽譜？何の曲かしら？あ、この曲。
そうだよ。君の欲しがっていた楽譜だ。
嬉しい。私、大切にするわ。きっと上手になって、あなたに聞かせてあげる。
ああ、楽しみにしているよ。
So it does seem this is the ghost or the lover that Mark was looking for, but she's having some troubles playing the piano.
違うわ。あなたじゃない。 マーク。あなた、この曲を知らない？楽譜が消えてて、どうしても思い出せないの。このままじゃ、あの人も来てくれない。知ってるなら教えて。お願い。
Well, that certainly explains why she might not be able to play the piece, but well, I don't think we're really in a good spot to help her out with this just yet.
これでいいの？弾いてみるわ。違う。こうじゃなかった。
Yeah, I think the first real step in figuring out this song is maybe just figuring out the name of the piece in the first place.
返して！持っていかないで！
And we get some impression that just taking the music back to Mark just isn't going to be enough, but yeah, if we take a quick look at the sheet here, we can get an idea about what the name of the piece is. Piano Sonnet 5, Second Movement. Now that's still not enough. I mean, it'd be nice to know whose piano sonnet this might be. Now there is another hint you can get in the music room here to help you figure out, well, whose piece of music this might have originally been. There are these portraits up here on the wall, and they are all of composers, with the central one being the one that is of interest to us right now. Yep, the piano selection in question is by Walter Greenberg, but well, it's still really not enough to fill in the music. And you wouldn't be expected to have some classical music knowledge to solve this puzzle. And in reality, there is one last clue we can get to help us figure out just how to fill in the music. Now, we can't just ask Mark, he doesn't really have a musical ear, but it's a little bit hard to make out, but there's a jukebox on the end of the bar here. And when you know it, it just happens to have a selection of classical music, though it looks like the names of the tunes are pretty faded, but you can kind of make out numbers there at the end. I think that might be a 5 and a 2. It seems like the middle one is probably the closest that we can get.
そう。その曲。確か、 その曲だった。
And with that, we do finally have the necessary keys to the puzzle. Now all it requires is, well, like, for lack of any kind of a better term, trial and error. I mean, you could have a better ear for notes and music than I do, but yeah, for the most part, you're probably going to have to try this note filling in a few times. I guess they really didn't want you to solve this without the clues.
誰か教えて。
Because it may not seem like it initially, but I think there are probably 8 different lines that you can possibly put notes onto. And if you haven't been able to figure out where you can hear the tune beforehand, you're more than likely not going to be guessing this. Especially this second note here. Don't want to get it all the way to the top, you want to get it about second from the top. But I think this should be the right tune.
これでいいの？弾いてみるわ。このメロディー。思い出したわ。
ノーマ。
マーク。やっと会えた。
ピアノが、あの曲が聞こえてきて。
私にくれたあの楽譜の曲。
そうだ。僕が探していたのは楽譜なんかじゃなかったんだ。
マーク。
ずいぶん優しいのね。どうなってもいいじゃない。彼らはもうこの世のものじゃないのよ。すべては彼らの運命。それを変える必要なんてあるのかしら。あなたは恋人を探しに来たんじゃなかったの？そんなに彼らが大事？面白いわ、あなた。そうね。そういう人がいてもいいかもね。
Well, even if she is a bit cynical, I can't help but assume that Richard is probably a nice enough guy. And either way, this was all for the better progression of the game because, well, we really needed that pepper, but it still really warms the heart to be able to reunite 2 long-lost lovers. But now that Mark is no longer in our path to the pepper, we can safely secure that, and hopefully finally be able to make our way out into the courtyard. Would say that this is a pretty roundabout way to get, through the game, but considering what we had to do in Echo Knight 1, it pretty much makes a lot of sense. And if anything, I mean, we do get to enjoy these lovely pieces of scenery. I mean, it seems like each room really tells its own story. I mean, even the music room had an overturned chair, and you might assume that maybe in Norma's frustration about not being able to play that song correctly, maybe she destroyed the chair. It's hard to say, but it could be a possible story. Either way, let's go ahead and give the pepper.
Oh, これだ、これだ。よかった。おかげで料理が完成するよ。これでよし。
And with that, we have secured yet another astral piece, but the real coup de grace to this chef's final meal is that he has finally given us access to the inner courtyard. But I think we have done enough odd jobs for today. Hopefully you will join me next time as we head out into the courtyard and meet this mysterious killer.